Welcome to Totally Talent Podcast by HR.com, your go-to source for all things talent. Whether you're looking for expert insights on high-volume hiring, the latest trends in recruitment technology, or strategies for building a winning team, we've got you covered. Join us for each episode as we dive deep into the challenges and opportunities shaping the talent landscape today. Let's get started. Hello, this is Debbie McGrath, the CEO of HR.com. And today we're doing a podcast with our friend Shadi Zebian from interview.ai. Spelled a wee bit different, but we'll get over that. And we're going to talk about why this category is a good category, the impact of AI on it, and how it can help our recruiter friends and HR people all over the world. So welcome to the show. Shadi, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for inviting me. This is a nice opportunity. I've been in the HR tech space for around 20 years. This is all what I've done in my adult life, building HR solutions. And I've seen it all from hire to retire, even after retired, the alumni part. And it's very exciting to build HR solutions, and it affects the lives of people. And doing some positive change in the lives of people is something that excites me. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I built several companies and exited successfully. And
tell us a bit about those companies, especially the ones that you've built in the HR space.
Yeah, and they were big companies that grew from zero from day one till big exits. And I started recently, not recently, like 2 years ago, interview.ai, which has a mission to help employers unearth the right talent and build the dream team. Because it makes me sad when I see employees who hate Mondays, who hate going back to work. And they look forward to weekends. They live weekend to weekend. It's a very toxic work culture that some companies have. Of course, not all companies, but some managers, they don't like their employees. Employees, they hate their managers. It's a toxic culture. I'm trying to change that by having companies build the dream team. It will be very healthy if you look forward for Monday because you're going back to work excited. And to build a dream team, you have to get the right people on board. And that's where I'm using AI for that specific purpose.
Okay, let's just go back to the success stories that you've had. You said you've built a couple HR companies in the past that have had successful exits. Can you tell me a bit about those companies so we can kind of validate your credibility as to why you can help everybody build the dream team?
Absolutely. The first company was HR Smart. It was a talent management suite that included all the cycle from hire to retire, talent acquisition, performance assessment, learning management, succession planning, career development. So all the cycle. And this company exited in 2015 to Delta.
With Man, right? Man Hampton?
With Man Hampton. That's right. And after that started Trend Data with Man Hampton and Tom McEwen. Exactly. And the three of us, we started Trend Data. Also, we had our experience in the HR tech, and we utilized it in building a new people analytics solution. And we exited in 2021 to iSolved.
Great.
In North Carolina, and started interview.ai, which is a third company, but also been part of several HR tech companies like Insala, Talexis, Talent Edge, and many other companies that I've seen, HR tech startups in particular.
Man's really created an incubator in the Texas area that has helped a lot of HR tech companies, startups get going. And he's truly committed to helping grow the space. So it's nice to see you guys still in touch and part of that ecosystem. Although I believe you're in Toronto, right?
I am in Toronto, Canada. And, birds of feather flock together. So when you have such kind of ecosystem, you will attract companies that think alike and even work in the same industry.
Good. Okay. So tell us about the newest startup.
So candidates have the right to be heard and have the right to be seen. And, companies do not grant them this right. In the regular, I would call it old school, but it's the current school, when 100 candidates apply, recruiters, they will scan their resume, they will take a quick glance at their resume, and it's so quick that the global average is 7 seconds looking at a resume. And that's the average. That's
And
not the
of
minute.
only the resumes they look at, never mind all the ones they get, right?
Exactly. Probably they don't look at all. And the ones they look at, they spend on average 7 seconds. So there are some resumes where they will spend 3 or 4 seconds. I mean, how can you judge a person based on taking a very quick glance?
Well, a lot of bias come out because they don't dig deep enough into it, right? So
Exactly. There's probably the famous bias is the confirmation bias, where you are looking for one word, and if I find that word, I'm going to keep this person in the pipeline. Otherwise, I'm rejecting that person. So you're rejecting the whole person's experience and education and the whole. This is not a one-page document. This is a person with a story behind it and a person that deserves to be heard. We kind of make a decision just based on one word that we're looking for, and this is not fair, and this is not for candidates, and it's not efficient for companies. So those who pass the resume part will be interviewed, and I thought, how about we do it the other way around? How about let's first interview people, and those who pass, we will actually check their resume. So let's interview first. But as a humans, we do not have the capability. We do not have time. We do not have the memory, the processing. We have different moods according to the day, according to the weather, according to, it's not fair to judge people in different, looking at them through different lenses. So we need to unify the lens, and we need to do it all in parallel because we don't have time. So that's where AI steps in. It can interview thousands of candidates simultaneously. Like in 1 hour, it can interview thousands and would tell you these are the top five, and then you would check their resume because now you have a better understanding.
But in the past, like as some of the competitive products in the interview space, like it would be a cost or a license per interview. So they would always want that screening halfway down the funnel as opposed to at the top of the funnel because of costs. So you're not concerned about that anymore?
I'm not, because I don't want recruiters to be reluctant about using the solution, because if they pay per interview, say $1 per interview, every time they receive a candidate, they would think twice about it. Like, it's going to cost me $1. Probably I will take a look at the resume first, and we're back to the same original problem, checking resumes before interviews. So I made the business model in a way where they do not pay per interview, they pay per requisition. And when you pay for the requisition, now whether you do 1 or 100 or 1,000 interviews, you already paid for that. In fact, you would be using it more because you already paid. So let me have everyone being interviewed. So this will help them or will reduce the reluctancy of recruiters.
And does the recruiter have the ability to ask specific questions or clarifying, like, do you have a degree? What hours do you want to work? Like, what influence do they have over the quality and the information they collect in the interview?
Beautiful question. So the interview is based on 4 pillars. The first is the behavioral assessment. We make sure that AI checks the characteristics of this person as a person. Does this person have the right critical thinking, the right adaptability, the right collaboration mindset to work with the team? Especially, after COVID and working remotely, this is very needed. The second pillar is the technical capabilities. We make sure this person is able to actually do the job, because they may be, critical thinkers and adaptable people, but they don't actually have hands-on experience. This is the second one. The third one is the application questions, like kind of closed-ended questions. Do you have this degree? It's not an interview question, it's more of an application question. And the fourth one is the compatibility between the resume and the job description, to make sure that this person actually has, for example, you're asking for 10 years of experience, this person actually has it. So these 4 pillars, behavioral, technical, application form, and resume matching, the 4 of them are joined together, and AI can make a decision accordingly.
Okay. Now, if are these proprietary assessments that you're putting in the front end?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they are. And the users have, or the recruiters have, the capability to share their expectations with the AI.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, they're going to say, they will tell the AI, hey, listen, I'm looking for a person with these characteristics, a person who looks like this. Of course, I'm not talking about the
Yeah.
physical look, but a person who looks like this.
Yeah,
And
like a
AI is
top
going
performer
to
they may have in that job right now.
100%. And
Yeah.
AI is going to say, sure, I got you. So let me interview a few thousands and get you the person you are looking for. So
And
you get to share your expectations.
and what if the company's using like a third party company like Plum or SHL for assessments? Could those be integrated in?
They can. It's a plug and play, because nowadays no solution is a silo or an island. You
Mm-hmm.
have to
Mm-hmm.
build bridges. So, yeah, we can connect with any solution, and we can exchange data back and forth.
Great.
In fact, I can show you a couple of things that maybe will help you. I will show more of the solution. Uh, can I share my screen?
Absolutely.
Let me do that.
And while Shadi's doing this, there's a lot of players in the interview space. Some of them focus just on scheduling, other focus on just the video interviewing component. Some focus on like all of them really are part of the selection process of hiring. They all have different business models, some for small businesses, some for large enterprise, some just focus on campus. So there's probably over 50 suppliers in this space. It's been around for a while. There's been some acquisitions in the space. HireVue, the largest company in it, has been bought and sold several times. So there's a lot of transition happening as well. And some of the older companies don't really have native AI or APIs. So we're seeing the next generation of this come to market, and it's really exciting. So let's go. Let's see what you got there.
So
I'm
it's a
not seeing your
nice.
screen.
I'm not, but
Okay.
you know what? Let me share my screen,
Yep.
and here I can.
Yep.
So you see, if you look at it from a time quality perspective, if you hire in minimal time, low quality, that's a rushing hire. So actually, you saved a lot of time, but probably you hired the first person who applied or the second. You saved time, but you paid the price in quality. Now, the recipe for disaster is actually when you take a lot of time and you still hire a low quality. And this is an embarrassing hire. Like you take 6 months and then you hire an average person. I start wondering, like, how did I do this? Now, the third quadrant is the old school: hire slow and fire fast. So the more time, the more quality. This is not 100% true, because the more time you take in the recruitment process, the good talents are going to be snatched by other companies. They're not going to wait. They are not patient. They are looking for a job and they are good candidates. So they're not going to wait for you. The more time, the better quality. You will get whoever is left in the market. Now, the golden quadrant is this: minimal time, high quality. This is the market gap that we are filling. And this, as humans, unfortunately, we're not able to penetrate this quadrant because we are not able to do it minimal time, high quality. And if we were able to do it once, we're not able to do it consistently every time. So this is exactly where the company is positioned. And to show you quickly like how the interview happens, in this case we have this example of an interview where the interviewer actually shows up and starts. Let me reduce the volume. So it starts actually asking questions to candidates, and candidates have time to prepare. And this is something that candidates love. They have time to prepare. They are not asked and they have to answer immediately. We want them to give their best. We want them to give their best. So we give them a minute to prepare and then provide their answer.
And if they make a mistake, can they re-record?
They can re-record, because actually we want them to give their best. It's not about pressuring them and cornering them. It's about, I want to see their best and compare it to the best of others. And I want you to give your best to see how high you can reach, so that I can compare it with others. So it's not about testing your interviewing skills. It's testing your whole skills, the whole package. So after the interview, now I should be answering, of course, and talking to the AI. And after I go through the whole interview, the AI is going to assess. And it assesses by, well, here's the question, and here's the candidate that is answering. And you see, AI will assess everything: the voice, the body language, the speech itself, the words. It assesses the competencies, and it's studying the candidates every millisecond to tell whether this candidate is the right person to hire or not. Otherwise, it's shooting in the dark. So I wanted to show this point.
Very cool. So tell me about the adoption in the market. How long has this product been available?
It has been available for 2 years, and so far so good. There's a huge demand. Candidates are loving it, and employers are loving it because it's like magic. You can hire at the speed of light, and who would say no to that? Like it's, I think about it as a black box. You would input like 100 candidates, and it will output the best five, the top five or the top 10, and it can happen in 1 hour. So because AI can interview them all in parallel, so this would really help you hire good people in minimal time.
Right. And I know when we talked earlier, you talked about a higher level of adoption in Middle Eastern countries,
Yeah.
The ability to handle multiple languages. So is that still the case? And that was good for you because the U.S. economy has been a bit weak in the last 2 years for recruitment, and having a test case in that market would bring validity to your market and help you get into the U.S. long term. So talk about like what type of clients are currently buying it and where they're from.
Sure. Clients mainly from the recruitment industry, consulting, banking, insurance, tech companies. These companies are loving it, and you're right. The economy in the U.S. and Canada, like it hasn't been in its golden era for the last 2 years, and hopefully 2025 will be a recovery year. So that's the beauty of a startup. You can always pivot. So the pivoting here was to UAE and Saudi Arabia, and they are very advanced there in terms of AI. They have high AI adoption. Um, People are loving it, companies are loving it, and candidates are loving it. And this is something I always emphasize on, that candidates should enjoy the interview. And there was a case, like a case study, where a company hired a director level in 3 days. And it was a director of marketing, and they hired this person in 3 days. They brought in the candidates, the AI met them all, interviewed them, suggested few people, they met them the second day, and the third day they hired the person. End of story. It doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes we want it to be a harder problem than it is. It doesn't have to be a hard problem to hire.
Well, and it could be, when you got lots of volume, so when you're hiring for hourly workers,
Yeah.
and if you're a company who really cares about culture, fit, match, this could give you all of that information as quick as other tools, or quicker, right? And give you quality.
100%. The bigger the volume, sometimes you start hating that more people are applying, although you should like it, because you will have much more options. Like choosing 1 out of 10 candidates, you are limited, but choosing 1 out of 100, you have more options. So you should be loving the bigger volume. But as a humans, we cannot handle the bigger volume. So that's why we kind of push back. But actually, it gives you more options. So that's why the bigger the volume, the better. And
so for somebody like Home Depot who has, say, a cashier in all of their stores, is that one job rec, or is it a job rec per location that they're paying for?
it's one job rec per location, and
Okay.
and you have sometimes different expectations per rec. So, for example, in a certain branch, or depending on the seniority and the job level of the person, you may have different expectations. So you have to share your expectations per job with the AI. And there's a beautiful differentiator that we have, where you can actually suppose that you have a rock star. His name is John, and he's really doing great. but John is moving to another company or maybe getting promoted or moving to another department. He's leaving his current job and you want to hire someone to replace him. And you start thinking like, what is the candidates criteria that I should be looking for? Who should I be looking for? And you don't have to worry about that. Let John and the AI talk to each other.
Mm.
And once they know each other, you tell the AI, okay, now you know John, find me another John.
That's
And
awesome.
it's employee cloning. So basically, it's going to interview like thousands of people and tell you this is the closest person to John. This is the person who resembles John in terms of performance and characteristics. So you don't have to guess. You would have your rock stars, your best employees as the starting point, and AI is going to meet them, get to know them, and accordingly interview candidates.
Have you been able to close the loop with any of the current clients in terms of confirming their quality, how they're producing when they get to the job, their tenure? Do you have ways to track that after the hire?
We were able to do this recently because, when you hire a person, you have to give it at least a year to be able to tell whether they are the right person or not. And we were able now to do it. And we are getting confirmations that actually, yes, the person that the AI suggested is actually the right person. And of course, AI, just to make it clear, AI will not take that decision. It's not decisive AI, it's suggestive AI. It will suggest the person, but still the HR department and the hiring manager, they still need to meet the person face to face in person as a human to human and take the final decision. So
Right.
it will not impose candidates on the company, but it will drive the company in the right direction.
Good. That makes sense. What are some of the challenges you're seeing in the industry right now?
Well, one of the challenges, as you mentioned, the economy in the US, this was something uh, that didn't work out in its best shape in the last few years. I think the other challenge, which is being reduced day by day, is the market is being more educated about AI. Every day is better than before. The acceptance of AI is increasing much more. Um, from both employers and candidates. AI is here to stay, and people, smart candidates and smart employers understand that. And in fact, they try to position themselves in the right place because I've heard a quote that says, you will not lose your job to AI, you will lose your job to someone who uses AI.
Mm-hmm.
So if you use AI, you are positioning yourself, you're betting on the winning horse. So that's why companies, smart companies, they know that they should adopt AI in their recruitment because this will give them leverage and an upper hand.
Yeah, and we're seeing like it's so hard to keep up with all the innovation that's coming out of AI. We watched the 12 Days of AI by ChatGPT. Even today, we're filming this on January 16th. Gemini and Google announced a bunch of AI that automatically appeared in your Google accounts. So it's really, really hard to keep up with it. But you're right. If you're in HR and you're not using these tools, you are not going to have a job soon. So you've got to adopt and you've got to figure out how to train the rest of your organization to be more productive using these tools that people now have access to. In most of the case, these tools are free, right? Or are a replacement for something that they're already paying for, but could be higher ROI or better performing. So it's good. So is your intent long term just to keep on the interview side, or do you see moving upscale to go into the whole applicant tracking, job distribution? Or are you just going to keep as a best of breed point solution?
It's going to stay in the interview side, but the interview side is not only talent acquisition. You have
Mm,
exit interviews, offboarding interviews.
yeah.
You have also performance assessment interviews. So,
Mm,
as the
mm-hmm.
manager or the matrix manager, they sit with them, or the 360, they would actually have some interviews with the person, with the employee post hire. Also, AI can sit with this employee and actually understand like what's going on and maybe provide a career development plan
Yeah,
or
yeah.
a performance
For
improvement
internal
plan.
mobility, right?
100%, but it will all be revolving around interviews, AI talking to a human, whether
Mm-hmm.
candidate or employee,
Mm-hmm.
and deducing something. But it will not become an ATS because the market is saturated with ATS solutions. So it's better to focus on the interviewing component.
Great. And we have seen a number of the ATSs launch light video interviewing. It
Mhm.
really doesn't get too much adoption. Companies are still sticking to the best of breed providers. And once an ATS buys like an interview tool or a screening tool of some sort, they don't spend enough time investing in it. So it becomes stale and out of date quickly, right? It's a big job to keep that current code relevant, to make it AI first, API first. So there's always a big opportunity as more and more companies learn how to effectively use APIs and connecting these best of breed solutions. So I think that's a good move for you to just keep very focused on this.
That's right.
So,
And ATSs, I mean, they were a very big deal 20 years back because we
mm-hmm,
used to pile resumes on the desk, right?
mm-hmm,
And uh, the ATS was able to move all of this digital. And now you don't have to track candidates with all these paperwork. Now it's all digital. But it doesn't take decisions. It doesn't help you. It just kind of helps you track. It
mm-hmm,
automates the paperwork to digital world. But now with AI, it can actually help you with insights. It can help you by saying, probably you missed looking at this aspect of the person, at this competency. So this person really has high adaptability or high collaboration
mm-hmm,
or high strategic acumen. Maybe you missed that. So AI is able to provide insights and not just automate the process.
mm-hmm. Um, it, I, I think a lot of companies have spent a lot of money trying to facilitate the scheduling of interviews,
Yeah,
right? Where you've kind of eliminated all of that,
yeah.
right? Like, right? So you said like, no, we'll interview everybody, and then we'll just take the next step for the top ones.
Yeah,
So
because this is more fair for candidates, truthfully,
yeah,
and let all candidates get the chance to be heard. And once a candidate wants to interview with AI, AI is there 24/7. So there's no need for scheduling.
mm-hmm,
Here's a link, and whenever you want and wherever you want, take the interview. So some people would like to take it in the early morning. Some people are night owls, will take it at night. Whatever makes you happy, just give your best. And here's the invitation. Take the interview, and good luck. Like we actually mean it when we say good luck. We want them to give their best. The scheduling part is hard, especially with time differences. We're in North America. You want
yeah,
to hire in Asia, and it's so hard to get people to meet. And if you get one person, not the second, maybe not the third, let alone if you have hundreds and thousands of candidates. So practically, it's not feasible. So that's where AI will step in.
very good. Well, we look forward to seeing your success, and thank
Thank
you for
you.
your time today. And you can reach should people reach you if they want to
So
follow up?
a follow-up can be at info@interview.ai, or the website is interview.ai. VU, it's not VIEW.
So
So
spell it
it's
all out for us, please.
interview.ai.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you a lot, Debbie.
Thanks for tuning in to the Totally Talent podcast by HR.com. We hope you find today's episode insightful and inspiring. Don't forget to explore more episodes and discover valuable resources at hr.com/podcasts, where you can listen to all of our podcasts. Until next time, keep leading with purpose and making a difference in the world of talent.